Welcome to episode 7 of Quirkiest Pro Facts about English. We really hope you like our work, so please keep those likes and comments coming and smash the subscribe and bell icons to have YouTube notify you when new stuff drops on our channel. So here is the next set of what we believe are some of the quirky things about the English language. Number 1, the word phlegm is often cited as the hardest English word to spell, but ironically, it's also one of the easiest to pronounce. Today, we'll look at another little intriguing nugget in the curious ways of the English language. Specifically, we shall explore the seemingly contradictory nature of the word phlegm, a term that has been dubbed by many as one of the hardest words to spell in the English language, and yet it is one of the easiest words to pronounce. Firstly, let us address the issue of spelling. Phlegm is notorious for confounding even the most skilled linguists with its silent G or G and seemingly random letter combination. However, we must not forget that English is a language that loves to borrow words from other languages, and phlegm is no exception. In fact, it originates from the Greek word phlegm, which means inflammation or heat. When it made its way into the English language, the G was added, as was the fashion at the time, to make it look more like a Latin word. So while it may be difficult to spell, the origins of the word give us a clue as to why it is spelled the way it is. Now, let us turn our attention to the pronunciation of phlegm. Despite the perplexing spelling, the pronunciation of this word is actually quite straightforward. Simply say phlegm and you've got it. It's easy to see why some might find this irony amusing. A word that is so difficult to spell, yet so easy to pronounce. But once again, we must look into the history of the word to understand why it is pronounced the way it is. The sound f actually comes from the Greek letter phi, which represents the sound f. So the original Greek pronunciation of phlegm was actually closer to phlegm. Over time, as the word was adopted by other languages and changed to fit their phonetic systems, the f sound stuck around in the spelling, but the pronunciation shifted back to the f sound. This is why we feel the word phlegm is a fascinating example of the quirks of the English language. While its spelling may cause many a headache, its pronunciation is a breeze. And just by exploring a little of the word's history and etymology, we can begin to unravel the mystery behind its seemingly contradictory nature. So the next time someone tells you that phlegm is the hardest word to spell in English, you can impress them with your newfound knowledge of its fascinating backstory. Number 2, English has a lot of confusing homonyms, words that sound the same but have different meanings. The English language is a veritable minefield of confusing homonyms, those pesky words that sound the same but have different meanings. As any native speaker can attest, navigating these linguistic landmines can be a daunting task, especially for those learning the language as a second tongue. One particularly vexing example is the pair of homonyms to and to. On the surface, they appear to be interchangeable, both serving as prepositions or adverbs indicating direction or excess, respectively. However, a closer examination reveals that they are not quite identical. To is used to indicate movement towards a destination, such as I'm going to the store. To, on the other hand, means in excess, or also as in I ate too much pizza or I like pizza too. Another homonym headache is there, and there. While they all sound the same, they have very different meanings. Their there is a possessive pronoun used to indicate ownership, such as their dog is cute. There there refers to a location, as in the store is over there. They apostrophe re there, meanwhile, is a contraction of they are, such as they are going to the store. It's easy to see how these homonyms can lead to confusion and misunderstandings, particularly in written communication. A simple mistake, such as using there instead of there, can completely alter the intended meaning of a sentence, leading to embarrassing or even disastrous consequences. But where do these confusing homonyms come from? In many cases, it can be traced back to the historical development of the English language. English has borrowed heavily from other languages, particularly Latin and French, resulting in a hodgepodge of words with similar sounds but distinct meanings. For example, the homonyms meat and meat Both have Old English roots, but meat meat was later borrowed from French, while meat meat developed independently. Similarly, weight and weight both come from Old English, but weight was later influenced by French. It's not just borrowed words that contribute to the homonym confusion either. Sound changes over time can also create homonyms. For example, great and great were once pronounced differently, but over time the two sounds merged, resulting in a pair of homonyms. We can see here how the English language is rife with confusing homonyms, a linguistic obstacle course that can trip up even the most fluent of speakers. And while it can be frustrating at times, it's also a testament to the rich and complex history of the language as well as its ongoing evolution. So, next time you're struggling with a homonym, take heart in the fact that you're not alone. Even Shakespeare himself had to contend with these pesky words. As he famously wrote in Romeo and Juliet, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet." Act 2, Scene 2. And number 3 today, because English is a non-phonetic language, it has a lot of words with silent letters and it can be difficult to know when to pronounce the letter or not. English is a non-phonetic language, which means that the spelling of words often does not correspond to their pronunciation. As a result, English has a multitude of words with silent letters, which can cause confusion and frustration for learners of the language. So, let's explore the phenomenon of silent letters in English, its origins, and some notable examples. The use of silent letters in English can be traced back to the language's complex history and the influence of multiple languages. Over time, the pronunciation of words evolved while their spellings remained largely unchanged. As a result, many English words contain letters that are no longer pronounced but remain in their written form. For instance, the K in night was originally pronounced in Middle English, but it is now silent. Some silent letters serve a specific purpose in the language, such as the H in hour, which distinguishes it from the word hour. Other times, silent letters are simply vestiges of the word's history, such as the B in debt and doubt, which were once pronounced but eventually became silent. The abundance of silent letters in English can make it challenging for non-native speakers to learn the language. For example, the GH combination in words like though, plow, and through is pronounced differently in each case, making it difficult to know when to pronounce the GH and when to leave it silent. Similarly, the word kernel is pronounced kernel, which can be baffling to anyone unfamiliar with English pronunciation. However, English speakers themselves are not immune to confusion over silent letters. Take, for instance, the common mispronunciation of mischievous as mischievous, even though the correct pronunciation is mischievous with a silent E or I. But despite the challenges posed by silent letters, they are an integral part of the English language and they really do add to its richness and complexity. Plus, they can provide amusement in unexpected ways. For example, the word mnemonic contains a silent M, which is a perfect mnemonic device for remembering the spelling of the word itself. So, to put it all together, the prevalence of silent letters in English can be attributed to the language's complex history and its evolution over time. While they can be challenging for non-native speakers and even native speakers, they also add to the unique character of the language. So, the next time you encounter a word with a silent letter, take a moment to appreciate the linguistic quirks of English. That's the end of this episode, guys. But while you're here, why not check out one of our other videos? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.